Hello, I'm Bob Smeerfak, but not really. This series is designed for theological seminary students with approaching exams who have not had time to read the Bible, and for contortionists confined in small spaces for long periods of time. Matthew, chapter 7. Let's go. This chapter finally wraps up the Sermon on the Mount. It had to end sometime. Anyway, it opens up with one of the biggies from Christianity's greatest hits. Judge not, that ye be not judged. Comparisons with eye injuries abound, and the best way to triage an eye injury situation. If sticks are stuck in two guys' eyes, extract the bigger one first. It just makes sense. Then he said, give not that which is holy unto the dogs, and don't cast your pearls before swine, which is probably what any fundamentalist Christians watching this series are thinking who don't know what satire is, and is what I'm thinking about any fundamentalist Christians watching this series who don't know what satire is. Next up is a procedural on getting what you want. Ask, seek, and knock. If he'd had visual aids, he probably would have pulled out a chart with a big acronym on it, because people like that kind of stuff. But if you ask for stuff, you're gonna get it, because if a normal dad knows how to give his kid stuff, then God, who's a lot better dad than you, is gonna make you really look bad in the stuff-giving department. If the Sermon on the Mount was a 3-disc set, then think of all the great songs being on disc 3, because chapter 7 has all the ones that made it to the top. Maybe the greatest hit of all time was, whatever you want people to do to you, do to them. Still, those lyrics require a little interpretation, seeing as other people don't always want what you want. If you want someone to have sex with you, it's maybe not a good idea to make love to them if they don't want you to have sex with them. It gets confusing and could lead to jail time. But if you want to get a good idea of whether you're going to heaven, look at the width of the road you're on. If it's wide, and a lot of other people are on it, it's not looking good for you. Basically, if too many people agree with your beliefs, you're going to hell, because few people are going to heaven. It's mathematical. But how do you know who to agree with? Well, imagine them as a tree and see what fruit they're growing. That's how you know. Basically, what they do tells you whether they're wolves or sheep, or citrus, or yeah. But anyone who bears bad fruit is going to end up as firewood. And that meant Jesus was picking up John the Baptist's fire metaphor and running with it. It was going to be a big metaphor over the next 2,000 years, and even go literal when people wanted to do an inquisition. And he pointed out that when heaven had its grand opening, name-dropping alone wasn't going to get you in. You had to be down with the program, or you were going to get bounced at the door. He pulled it all together with a residential construction metaphor, which was the best way to go, since real estate values would always represent constant growth, at least until 2007 AD. He said if you're building a beach house, don't set the foundation directly on the sand. Then he explained how that meant don't base your whole belief system on something that can just drop out from under your feet if you add a little solvent, which is interesting. Overall, people were really impressed with Jesus. For a guy without a big budget, he had really good presentation. Next in this series, we'll move on to chapter 8. Spoiler alert, if you've got a fever, like Peter's mother-in-law did, the prescription is not more cowbell, it's Jesus. As always, I'm not a religious figure, but if you want me to save you or damn you to hell, I'll do my best.